Let's imagine a typical day. You're off to the grocery store, which is 2 kilometers away. You walk there, grab your supplies, and walk back home. So, you've covered a total of 4 kilometers. That's distance, the total length of the path you've traveled. But what about displacement? That's about where you started and where you ended. You began at home, went to the store, and came back home. Your starting and ending points are the same, so your displacement is 0 kilometers. Interesting, right? Now let's talk about speed. Think of a car zooming down the highway at 60 miles per hour. That car is covering 60 miles for every hour it's on the road. That's speed, how fast you're moving. But what about average speed? It's all about the total distance you've traveled over the total time it took you. Say you drove 200 kilometers and it took you 4 hours. Your average speed then would be 50 kilometers per hour. All right, now let's dive into velocity. It's how fast you're moving, but with a twist. It includes direction. So if a car is moving 20 meters per second to the north, its velocity is 20 meters per second northward. And then there's average velocity. This is similar to average speed, but it considers displacement instead of total distance. So if you walk 1 kilometer east, then 1 kilometer west, your average velocity is 0 because you ended up where you started. And now, let's bring in instantaneous speed. This is the speed of an object at a specific instant. The same goes for instantaneous velocity, which is the velocity of an object at a specific moment in time. It's like taking a snapshot of an object's speed and direction. Lastly, we have relative velocity. This is the velocity of one object as observed from another. For instance, if a car is moving at 60 miles per hour and a truck is moving in the same direction at 50 miles per hour, the car's relative velocity as observed from the truck is 10 miles per hour. Throughout the video, we'll be throwing in quizzes and questions to test your understanding of these concepts. So, stay tuned and let's make learning fun. And here's a question to get your brain gears moving. If you took a round trip to the moon, what would be your displacement? And what about your distance traveled? Think about it. And remember, the journey is just as important as the destination.